only the full collections are going to get pressed eyeshadows, and you get to pick 8 out of the 12 for your palette. So that's how it's going to work for right now. I kind of did some changes to my collection, and that's kind of how I work. Like, I need it to feel cohesive, and I needed to make sure I had all the colors that I wanted to have, all the colors I think that are necessary for a basic neutral palette, and just something a little bit more than your standard neutral palette too. Like, I wanted to make them all special and really have my own touch to them. So I hope you guys enjoy them, and I'll let you know when I get those up for sale, at least the pigments, and just stay tuned. I'll let you guys know on here and on my Facebook when I do get the prototype done for the neutral palette, and when I'll be selling those. So I'm really excited. I do have the labels done for them. The labels are based on the Paris Metro. If you've ever seen those signs from the turn of the century, like, they're kind of Art Nouveau kind of style. So the labels are based on those signs. They're really cool, and they have a fleur-de-lis on them, and they're going to have the ingredients on the back and all that good stuff. It's going to be a 3-week turnaround time from the time you order till the time I can ship it out. Not necessarily going to take the 3 weeks, but I may or may not have to order more palettes from TKB, and their shipping can be kind of slow sometimes. So I just want to make sure that you realistically know about how long it's going to take for me to ship these palettes out to you guys, because my process for pressing eyeshadows is kind of involved. A professional cosmetic company has like a machine that does it for them. I do it all by hand. I use the mini mortar and pestle, and I use about 5 to 10 drops of fractionated coconut oil, just depending how much I have in my bowl. And I add zinc stearate to that, which is what really holds eyeshadows together in the pressed form. I add some of that, I grind it together by hand, and then I force it through a mini sieve so that all the particles are the same size, because when you're pressing eyeshadows you don't want them to be uneven and clumpy. The first one is called La Seine, and it is basically it's the river Seine, which is a river that runs through Paris. And I chose to do this color based on the moonlight reflecting off a night river. So it's kind of an antique silver, but it has a little bit of kind of bluish green undertones to it. It's really unique, like antique darkened silver with like a little bit of green undertones, and it's what I'm actually wearing on my lids right now. I'm wearing it on my lids over a black base. This is what it looks like. This color is Monet, and this one's really hard to capture on camera. It is a duochrome. It is a warm medium brown with blue duochrome in it, and little blue mica shimmers in it as well. You can see that. I was inspired by Monet's water lilies and his use of light, and just the fact that he loved to paint outdoors, so I had like an earthy brown to go with it. So that one is really beautiful. I'm actually going to swatch this on my hands. I think that'll be a little easier actually. Okay, and that one, can you see like the blue duochrome in that one? It's a little like matte club. This wouldn't be a very good neutral palette if I didn't have a good matte black for you guys. And that is Eiffel, and it is just a true matte black. And I made sure that it blends really easily and that it's very, very pigmented. You can see that there. I've had too many matte blacks that lean a little charcoal gray, and I think it's because of some of the binding mediums that they add to it. I actually use nylon 12, which is a synthetic vegan ingredient that you use to press darker eyeshadows, and that way it doesn't lighten the eyeshadow, but you still get a nice pressing. So that is Eiffel. I'm really happy with how that turned out. Next is a matte taupe color, and again, a good neutral palette will have a matte taupe color. I used it to fill in my eyebrows today, and I kind of used this color to replace Urban Decay Shakedown because that color is discontinued. As you may or may not know, they're discontinuing their matte colors in individual form, which sucks because I love them. So I needed a replacement to fill my eyebrows, and I made this color, and it leans a little bit more gray than brown, unlike the Urban Decay version, but it is a matte taupe color. Switch that. So it almost looks a little purpley on camera. I really love taupe colors. I just think they're so versatile and beautiful, and they're really good at blending out different browns and colors, and I like using them in my contour. I like using them to fill my brows, and yeah, you gotta have a matte taupe, and that one is called Riviera. The next one is named after the museum called the Louvre, and that's where Mona Lisa is kept. It is a matte cream white highlight with a tiny bit of transparent gold mica in it. So it is a matte color, I want to say. It's not a satin. Satin usually has a little bit more mica in it, and a little bit more of a sheen. The base in this is mostly titanium dioxide. It is really opaque and matte. It just has very subtle gold glimmer in it because it just will catch the light really nicely in your highlight, and just it'll give you something a little bit extra. I want to make my colors unique and special, so. But this is Louvre, and it is again very pigmented, easy to blend, not chalky. I spend a lot of time on my mattes because I'm very picky about them. I want them to be really nice. This one is called Couturier, and I decided to name this one Couturier because it's such a chic look when models and runways, when the models wear like nude dresses and kind of peachy pink nude-ish dresses. I just think it looks really chic and beautiful, and just something that a couturier would do when they're designing their lines. Here in my brow bone, it's just like a peachy pink color. It's a satin finish. It's not a metallic, it's not a matte, it's a satin finish. So it's a really good highlighter, and it will make a really beautiful lid color as well. I'm going to see if this will show up on my skin tone. It's pretty close to my skin tone, so it may or may not show up. I'll try to do a big swatch so you guys can see it. But see, it's extremely close to my skin tone, which will make it a really good highlight for fair girls as well as darker skin ladies, because it has a beautiful peachy pink color to it. I have a couple satin colors coming up here. They have a mostly matte base with a little bit of mica in them. This one is Moulin. It's named after the Moulin Rouge, which you've probably seen the movie, but if you haven't, it basically was like a really famous nightclub, turn of the century Paris, with can-can dancers and all kinds of risque behavior. I just wanted to do a really pretty reddish brown satin color for blending out contours when you want to warm up your look a little bit. And it is a reddish brown, but it's not super red, where if you're afraid to wear red eyeshadow you couldn't wear this. It definitely leans a little more brown than red. So it's just a really beautiful satin finish to it. And if you hear something outside, it's the garbage man. Hope that the camera will pick this up. That's Moulin, and that is what it looks like in the jar. It is an apricot peachy yellow color with gold shimmer in it. I just thought that was such a pretty warm kind of beachy color. Thought it would fit in really well with the palette. There, I think you can see it. That'll be a really nice lid shade, or just something to blend out your contour if you want, or a highlight color for darker skin tones. It's really beautiful apricot color with gold shimmer. I hope you guys can see that. Next up we have Versailles, and it's my favorite color from the collection because I'm a gold lover. And that's what it looks like. It is a true gold. It's not a green gold, it's not a yellowy gold. It's just a true gold color. So pretty. And again, I mixed that one with 4 different gold micas, so it's very unique. And of course it's named after the Palace of Louis XVI. Next up I have Notre Dame. And this one actually is a pretty close dupe of MAC Satin Taupe, I want to say. I mean, I've never owned any MAC eyeshadows, but from swatches I've seen of this color, I think it's pretty close to Satin Taupe. And again, it's a satin color, so it's not overly shimmery, it's not matte, it just has a nice sheen to it. And that's what it looks like, and that'll be a gorgeous lid color, or blending out your contour, or just anything like that. It's just a beautiful satin taupe color, I guess, but that is called Notre Dame. And I was inspired by the color of the actual church, like the outside color. And next up I have another matte for you guys. I did try to do more mattes for this collection, and it is just a matte deep chocolate brown color. My crease, my inner crease, you can see that. The outer crease, oh, I guess I should say what I'm wearing. I'm wearing Couturier on my highlight. I'm wearing Lessine on my lid. I'm wearing Eiffel on the outer V, and I'm wearing Hemingway in the contour, and I'm wearing Lessine on the bottom lash line as well. But yeah, Hemingway. I know people will be like, well, he's from America. Why are you including him in a Parisian collection? And actually, one of my favorite novels is A Movable Feast. And it's actually based on Ernest Hemingway's stay in Paris when he was younger. I think it was after World War I. It was about him just kind of finding himself as a writer and spending all day in cafes, just observing people and writing, and just meeting different interesting people at the turn of the century Paris. So it's kind of the color of coffee. I kind of imagine him sitting in a coffee house just writing about life. So that's why I picked his name for this color. And my mattes are unique. They're not like a lot of mattes. They actually are creamy, blendable. I use magnesium stearate to make them nice and creamy and to give them good adhesion. I use titanium dioxide for opacity. I use magnesium glycerate to keep the color stable on the lid so it doesn't soak in and change color throughout the day. I use Laurel lysine, which kind of gives it a nice cushion, makes it easier to apply on the lid. Just, you know, I use a little bit of silicone dioxide as well, just to make it a little bit softer and have a nicer texture. So I really do spend a lot of time formulating my matte colors, so I hope you guys like them. And last but not least, we have Bohemian, which is kind of inspired by Toulouse-Lautrec. If you've ever heard of Toulouse-Lautrec, he did a lot of Parisian street art and posters, and like was very involved with like the courtesans and entertainers of the time, and writers and artists. And he was actually his growth was stunted, so he was a lot shorter than a lot of other people. But it's basically based on just like the bohemian lifestyle that he lived, and it's kind of a wine color because they did enjoy life and did enjoy drinking wine and celebrating life. So it's a wine-ish kind of burgundy brown color with purple in it. It's really beautiful. And that is what it looks like. And I think that will pair really well with Versailles or any of the taupe colors. I really love like wine purples with those kind of colors. So I thought it would fit in really well with the neutral palette.